This channel is really concerned with just 5 things. And so I'm going to list them out. And once they're listed, then of course you'll know all about this channel and probably don't need to listen to any other podcasts. So let's get to the first one. The first one is no formulas. There are no formulas for life. If you are pursuing that angle, so what do I mean by formulas? Well, things like systems, dogmas, ideologies. If you're following something like that, you're going to be disappointed because you're trying to bracket life, and life will not be bracketed. You can't constrain life by your thinking. And so you'll be trying to cram life into some deformed kind of dogma that you've got, and it won't fit. So you have to let go of all your formulas. Easier said than done. The second freedom is no effort. Now, it's long been held, apart from maybe in a few traditions, I'm thinking of the Taoist one particularly, that we have to put ourselves through a kind of torture to maybe realize something or whatever. Well, if you've got a dogma, if you do have some kind of formula, then yeah, you'll probably be putting yourself through some kind of torture. But it doesn't require any effort for me or you or anybody to watch a football match, if we're interested in football, or whatever your interest is. Your interest might be eating ice cream, eating donuts, smoking, whatever it is. That doesn't require any effort on your part. There's a desire there. Well, same thing with this kind of thing. If you have no desire to try and understand yourself and the world and to free yourself from yourself, basically, if you have no interest in that, then for goodness sake, go and play football. Go to the casinos, go to the nightclubs, whatever. This kind of thing isn't for you. But if you have some desire to try and understand yourself, then there's no effort involved. You just do it anyway. If you find yourself making effort, you're doing something wrong. And you've probably got a formula. Some kind of crappy formula that you've picked up from somewhere out of some book that tells you how life should be and how you should be, as though you don't have enough constraints in your life. So the third freedom is that you have no freedom. Oh, this guy's just been a smartass, I can hear you say. Well, no, it's not really the case. You will only feel free when you realize that you have absolutely no freedom whatsoever. I've produced podcasts on here on the topic of free will. When you realize there's no such thing as free will, that you are a total slave to the world, to everything around you, to everything that influences you, to everything that's going on in your head. When you realize you're a slave to all of that, you'll just lay back in your chair and think, well, fuck, I'm going to go downstream with the flow of it all. It's a tremendous freedom. So you only get freedom when you realize you have no freedom. If you want to believe in free will, then you have to believe in causeless effects. Effects that have no cause. You don't believe that in any other area of life. Why do you believe it in terms of your wanting to do something or your so-called decision to do something? Anyway, I've produced podcasts on this channel. Go and look for them if you're interested in free will. The fourth one is no identification. Now this is not as straightforward as it sounds. You will be identified probably with your partner, with your whatever it is that you like, your car, your house, any number of things. You'll be identified with them. But the real meaning of this is to be identified with your identifications. You're going to be identified with your mother and your partner and your brother and your sister and your kids and whatever else, people around you and material things and all the rest of it. Nothing wrong with it. Be as identified as you want. but are you identified with that? So, just put it into a more simple way of expressing it. Are you identified means that you judge yourself. That's what being identified is. Judging yourself. Be identified with everything in the world. In fact, the more you're identified with, the better. But are you judging yourself because of that identification? This is a very subtle thing, and it's hard for people to get to the bottom of, but it's very important. So if you see you're judging yourself, and most people judge themselves all day, every day, if you see that, it's because you're identified with the thing that you're judging in yourself. Finally, the fifth freedom is life has no meaning. Wouldn't it be awful if life had a meaning? If there was some purpose? It would mean that you had to live your life, or you would have to live your life according to some kind of formula. And then life would have a formula. Your purpose is to XYZ. Your purpose is to become a better person. Your purpose is to, whatever kind of nonsense thing you might want to conjure up. But because it has no meaning, you are totally free to create your own purposes and meanings. It's wonderful. So, if you have a formula, and this thing about formulas is very important, because if you have a formula, you will get involved in effort, you will think you have free will, you will identify with things, and you will think you have meaning. And that is a prison. The aim of what's on this channel and the 200 or 300 podcasts on Patreon is to get us out of that prison. To become free, the 5 freedoms. Anyway, this is just an intro video. If it is of interest to you, then look on the channel, and if you're even more interested, go and have a look on Patreon.